All right, we are back with another pick'em video. It is Saturday, March 8th in the NBA. We have an 8-game slate in our hands, including the Celtics versus the Lakers. Should be a fun one. Boston should be buzzing tonight. And hopefully we get a marquee matchup, hopefully like a playoff type atmosphere. And I think we will be getting that tonight. So everyone looks forward to that game. There are some other games going on. There's 7 other games. Not the best slate in the world, I will say, but definitely some value out there that I'm seeing. Going to share those plays with you guys and then get out of here. Maybe a quicker video, even though I say that pretty much every video. And it ends up going to like the 25-minute mark. But we'll see what happens. So if you're new around here, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Leave the video a like, comment something down below. Like always, we are going to go over the recap of yesterday's picks. They were not amazing. We will go into the injury news, the back-to-back news, all that, and then we'll hop into the plays using our favorite tool, Props Madness. Let's get into it. So going into the recap of yesterday's video, very, very mediocre day. Jonas Valanciunas was a plus money play at the 11.5 rebounds. He ended with 12, but had a good game overall. We really liked the matchup. We liked the minutes, and yeah, Valanciunas pretty much always produces when he gets that much time on the floor. For Devin Vassell, over 17.5 points. That didn't hit. He ended with 10 points. He got the volume, ended up shooting 4 of 13, 2 of 8 from 3. And the annoying part here is I didn't know who to go to, Vassell or Stephen Castle. They both had very similar types of player types. I mean, that's what we were attacking in terms of the matchup. Ended up going Vassell. Castle ends up having a 25-point game. So that sucks, and that happens sometimes. OG Anunoby, this was an interesting one. We spent like 5 minutes talking about OG. I did like the 16.5 points. That was the play, but I did talk about how the better play here was the 13.5 field goals attempted line. He ended up shooting 15 times, but he shot horribly, kind of just like Devin Vassell. So he hit the field goals attempted, didn't get to the points. I don't even know what to call that. It's like a kind of a wash here in terms of the official video picks. For some leans, talked about Max Strus. He had 3 points, didn't even shoot at all, really. Maybe a horrible read there, just didn't get the volume, even though he had been. And he had a great matchup for it. Maybe a bad read overall. I think he did trip in with like 3 assists, so maybe I got the good read on the assists there. Jacoby Walter, how about 14.5 points and assists? He got that pretty much at halftime and then ended up leaving the game and not coming back. So great read there. He didn't even need the full game. He did get injured. If he got injured right before he cashed, that would have sucked. But I think he ended with 16 points and assists before leaving the game for good. And then Devin Booker over his 7.5 assists, ended on the hook there. I also like the 10.5 rebounds and assists. He ended really well with that. He had 6 rebounds, 7 assists. So kind of another wash there. So very mediocre day. Going to try to put that one in the past and get a better day going today. In terms of the, I'm going to go to this page because we had a great day overall in the Discord. We went up 18 units, and I didn't even play very heavy. I have not been playing very heavy in the month of March. You can see since 2025 started, we're just trending upward. It's been an awesome ride. So absolutely, recommend checking this out. The way we play this is you get the research breakdown plays, which is usually the video picks, and I'll add some throughout the day that you can straight bet all those. And then I do play some Underdog plays. I do play some Dabble slips, some PrizePicks, all those different types of things. And we end up cashing out a 20x over on Dabble. We cashed out a 6x on Underdog. And then we were Colin Sexton away from another 20 or 15x or whatever this might be. But Colin Sexton apparently doesn't play basketball anymore. He had 5 turnovers or 6 turnovers too. So that was unfortunate there. So yeah, really good day in terms of the Discord. If you want access to all my plays, check out the Discord description down below or the link in the description down below. It does do a step-by-step process of how to join. So definitely come hang out with us. Everyone was eating. I mean, everyone's kind of sharing how they've been doing. We have a bunch of really, really smart people in here. They share their slips as well. And you can go in and tail me, but you might end up staying for the community, end up liking to tail some other people in here as well. I mean, shout out Opium. He had a freaking awesome day. I think he hit 2 40Xs, just ridiculous. Nail's been killing it. He's excited for March Madness. It's just a good time. It's a great community. You get the community aspect on top of the plays. So I don't usually shout this out at the beginning of the video, but I thought it was a good time because we were coming off a pretty good day, even though the video picks weren't amazing. A couple guys in the Discord were killing it yesterday. So that's what we got going on. Let's get into the injury news, and then we'll talk about some plays for today. So first things first, teams on a back-to-back, the Charlotte Hornets, the Miami Heat, the Toronto Raptors. I always point that out because some guys might not even be on the injury report, and then all of a sudden they're yanked from the lineup, and we just saw that happen with LaMelo Ball. I literally just got the tweet, so I don't even know if RotoWire is going to be up to date just yet. Looks like he's not in the starting lineup, but yeah, they're probably moving this because he's not down here yet. But Charlotte Hornets, without LaMelo Ball, they are on that back-to-back set, and they're going up against the Brooklyn Nets. I'm going to be totally honest. I didn't even look into this game because, first of all, it's a 6 p.m. start. We don't have to deal with that in terms of the video picks and people not being able to tail it. But also, they're just really hard teams to read right now. Back-to-back situation for them. I know Miles Bridges is a great read here probably, but he doesn't play well in back-to-backs. And then the other side of things, we're getting Cam Thomas back in the equation. Now Cam Johnson's back off. D'Angelo Russell plays 30 minutes sometimes, and then 5 minutes other times. It's just a hard read to go to this Brooklyn Nets team. So I'm not going to be going to it. You can see the projected minutes here. Claxton, Keon, whatever, all these different guys. Again, a game I'm kind of avoiding here. And then obviously LaMelo is getting ruled out as we're going through this. So maybe let's give this an update. There we go. Now LaMelo's out for them. Moving to the Pelicans and the Houston Rockets. Boston and Brown both out for them. Moving into the other side, the Houston Rockets, we got Van Vliet. He's going to miss, I think this is his last game missing, maybe next 2 games. He's been in and out of the lineup, so we've seen a bunch of different games without him in the lineup. Amin Thompson, 36 projected minutes, 35 for Sengun. We also saw this game happen a few days ago, so just keep that in mind. We do have a data point to look at in terms of players going for them. They allow a whole bunch of points in the paint. This Pelicans team does. Looks like Trey Murphy's going to get a whole bunch of time. CJ Zion projected for 30 minutes, and then some guys off the bench. Jordan Hawkins looking to get 32 minutes here, so maybe a game to look into there. For Indiana, we don't know if Tyrese Halliburton's going to play. He's dealing with that hip injury. He's had hamstring, hip injuries over the past few years, and when he gets injured, he sometimes comes back and he sucks. So he's been really good, so just keep an eye on him. Benedict Mathurin, another guy that's missed the past few games now, so if he's going to play, that hurts some other guys' usage, I would say. Miles Turner, 3-pointers would be something I want to look at against this Atlanta team. But without Halliburton, he doesn't get as many shots up, which is what we saw in the last matchup here. And then guys that get big boosts without Mathurin, Nesmith, guys like Siakam, a lot of guys get a lot of bigger usage here. You can see the on-off court stats. If these guys are going to end up sitting, looks like we're not getting that just yet, just because they're not ruled out. But for the Atlanta side of things, we got Trey. He's always got a probable tag. He should be ready to go. Karis LeVert, game time decision. This one, hopefully he plays, because we're going to be looking at a guy on this Hawks team that I think we want LeVert playing. Larry Nance out for this team. Terrence Mann, also a game time decision for the Hawks. Moving on to the Wizards, we got Jordan Poole, game time decision. He's missed the last few games. Brogdon, Jones, Bay, all out for this team. Toronto Raptors side of things, we just saw them miss a whole bunch of guys on the first half of the back-to-back. Looks like RJ is probable, so he should be in there. Scotty Barnes now, game time decision. Quickly is going to be out. Walter is out, so he's the guy that we bet on yesterday, and he got injured. So a bunch of guys still out here. If RJ ends up playing, should be a great spot for him. 4-point spread. He could be a good guy to look at. I'd obviously want to see if Scotty Barnes is going to play in this one as well. But other guys that are going to be probably getting a bunch of usage here, guys like AJ Lawson. I'm not sure how he played yesterday, but Jamal Sheed also projected for a decent amount of minutes. For the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat, we got Kobe White as a game-time decision. Trey Jones into the starting lineup here. Why is that? Where's Josh Giddey? I guess Giddey's a small forward. I don't know about that. But yeah, here's the projected lineup for the Chicago Bulls. Patrick Williams, Vucevic, Alonzo Ball, all doubtful, so I don't expect any of those guys to play. Kobe White, game time decision. He's been getting all the volume he can handle. For the Miami Heat, we got Tyler Hero and Kel'el Ware, both game time decisions, but probable. Wiggins, a true game time decision, and then Jovic still out, and Burke, also a game time decision. For the Orlando Magic, we got no one on the injury report. For the Milwaukee side of things, Giannis is going to be a true game time decision. I assume he will go out there and play. Damian Lillard on the other side is going to be a probable tag, so he should be out there. Still no Bobby Portis. He's not going to play for the next 20 games with that suspension. Pat Connaughton, that's pretty much, and Gary Trent, also a doubtful tag. So definitely some injuries for the Milwaukee Bucks side of things. Then we got the game of the night, Lakers and Boston. Luka, LeBron, both game time decisions, but probable. They will be out there and playing. Rui Hachimura out for this team, and then Kleba still out for this team. Then for Boston, we got Drew Holiday, Porzingis, and Sam Hauser, all game time decisions. I expect at least Porzingis to play. He's missed a ton of games with an illness, so he should be ready to go. Finally, Drew Holiday, I think, should be out there as well. Should be a good one. 7.5-point spread in favor of Boston at home. I'll be watching that one, of course. Detroit and Golden State, last game on the slate. Tobias Harris is going to be a game time decision, but probable. Jaden Ivey is still out for this team. Then we got Podziemski. Not doubtful. Game time decision here for him. Kuminga is going to be out, so they are relatively healthy, but Podziemski, I hope, plays because he's been getting a ton of time, and obviously the Warriors have been playing pretty good. So yeah, that's the injury report. Like always, there's a bunch of stuff to talk about, and I kind of went a little bit deeper into the teams than I usually do, so hopefully you guys got something from that. But let's get into plays. I want to talk about some. All right, so like always, we're going to be using a tool called Props Madness. If you're watching this video and you're like, I finally got to check this thing out, I've been putting it off too long, you can use my link in the description or code RICH when you're signing up, and you're going to get a free week trial, and you're going to get 25% off your first month or your first year. And yes, they have WNBA here, so excited for that. And yeah, again, I'm just going to let the video do the talking for you. But Props Madness, obviously an awesome tool. I wouldn't be using it every single video if it wasn't. So check out the link in the description. Again, code RICH to get those perks from that. we're going to start off with Trey Young today. Absolutely loving this play. First of all, the head-to-head looks awesome, and it's not like he's dominating these guys in terms of scoring. He did have a really good scoring game, then a 22-point game, but I'm going to the rebounds and assists here at 14.5. He's had 20 and 19 rebounds and assists against these teams, obviously being led by those assists, which we're going to look the most into. I don't mind his rebound potential to add on to it because 11.5 is juice to the gills, minus 146 on a lot of these different books. So I'm going to do the rebounds and assists. I think he can chip in with 3 rebounds to kind of get us that same line, and then we'll go from there. So that's what we're going to be looking at, and why do I like this? So first of all, he's over in 41% of games in the last 29 games, but let's look at the assists specifically. How does he get his assists? There's a decent amount from above the break, not too crazy. 19th, where he gets the majority of his assists is right at the rim, where they're ranked 19th in terms of giving up assists. So that's what I want to be looking at, the dominant assist zone. I'm going to knock out those really 10 top teams, or the top 10 teams in terms of denying assists at the rim. And now we're going to see a 51% hit rate. So it definitely boosts up a little bit. I like to see that. The next thing I want to look at is how he is, or how this team is in terms of defending the points in the paint. So yes, we see the amount of assists they give up in the paint, but how are they in terms of interior defense? And they're bad. 28th ranked in terms of points in the paint allowed, which I love to see. That's going to be a positive data point, and we're going to see that in terms of the hit rate. And again, they're ranked 28th. I'm going to go ahead and knock out the top two-thirds of the league and just look at the bottom third of the league. Now we got a 70% hit rate in matchups like this. So absolutely loving this. The last thing I'll point out is they're pretty good in terms of defending the above the break threes. If you go to points here, you can see they rank 5th in terms of above the break 3 defense. And that's 43% of where Trey Young shoots the ball. So in terms of scoring the ball, this is not an amazing matchup for him to launch some threes, which it means I think he's going to be more looking to dime the ball. And we've seen that obviously in the 2 previous matchups against this Pacers team. So back to assists, we can see, or back to points, I guess we can just put in the dominant player or dominant scoring zone, the DSZ, above the break threes. This is a difficult matchup for him. They're ranked 5th. Let's go ahead and knock out the bottom 15 teams. Look at the top 15 teams in terms of defending the above the break threes. Now we're going to get this hit rate, but again, we're looking at points. We want to be looking at rebounds and assists, and look at that, 85% of games in these situations he's going over this. A lot of the games he's absolutely crushing this. So yeah, love what I'm seeing here in this matchup for Trey Young. And to get kind of to recap what we just looked at, we're looking at the dominant assist zone where he gets the assists. That's right at the rim. This Pacers team ranked 19th in that regard. So I just knocked out the best 10 teams in terms of denying assists at the rim. Then we looked at the points in the paints allowed. They're ranked 28th in that regard. So I knocked out the top 2/3 in the league, looking at the bottom third in the league in terms of allowing points in the paint. So that added to that. And then, of course, the tough above the break 3 defense is going to be tougher for Trey Young to score the ball, which means he might be looking for more assists. And that's what we've seen in these types of matchups. Rebounds, assists, 85% hit rate. Loving this one from Trey Young. He's continued to do this back-to-back games, February 1st and March 6th. This was a few days ago. I expect similar results from him today. And Trey Young going to try to continue this wagon against the Pacers for him. Perfect matchup. 14.5 rebounds and assists, first play of the video. Next play here is going to be Damian Lillard, and I'm going to be taking his under 3.5 three-pointers made. Now, if you've been watching the videos the past 2 weeks or so, we've got a Dame twice in those instances on teams going up against teams that have a very weak above the break 3 defense, and we're looking at his overs. He hasn't come through for us once, so I don't mind taking Damian Lillard's under in this situation, considering the fact they're going up against the best 3-point defense in the league, especially above the break, but even in the corners as well. They allow the least amount of 3-pointers made on the season. So 50% of his shots come from above the break. They're ranked number 1 there. Obviously, we're just looking at 3-pointers. I don't really care if he scores points in terms of free throws or driving, whatever it might be. We just don't want him to knock down threes. So dominant scoring zone above the break threes. We're going to be taking a look at that filter. We're going to bring this down to, let's say, top 15 teams in terms of defending threes. This drops to a 37% hit rate of going over his 3-point line. So obviously, I like to see that. If you want to look a little bit and make this like even a little bit smaller, you can look at top 10 defenses. It's still 38.9% hit rate. You want to look like a top 6 defenses is a 30% hit rate. So any way you like wrap it up here, it's going to be around a 30% hit rate to 40% hit rate when he's going up against a little bit more difficult defenses in terms of defending the 3-pointer. And you can see first in terms of 3-pointers allowed, first defensively in terms of position ranked against 3-pointers, first in terms of his dominant scoring zone, all really good things to point at. Next thing I'll look at is the fact that Giannis likes to assist Damian Lillard above the break threes. We've looked into this multiple different videos, but this above the break three defense, again, ranked number 1 in terms of assists going there. So they also don't allow assists again above the break threes, which is something I like to see. So for him to get this filter correct, his dominant assist zone is actually at the rim. His dominant assist zone 2 is those above the break threes. So if Giannis is not going to be able to set him up as much as usual in those above the break threes, that's where Dame gets a lot of those to fall. And that's going to be a good data point, I think, for us to look at. So again, if this is a little bit confusing, I'm going to be looking at the dominant assist zone. But for Damian Lillard, it's dominant assist zone 2. This is how we're going to get the above the break 3 defense in play, which again, you can see right here, they're ranked number 1. And we're going to look at, I guess, the bottom 15 teams again, or even bottom 10 teams, and we're going to get 36% hit rate on his assists. It's actually the same exact hit rate on his three-pointers made. Now, he has gone over this a few times lately, but if you look into this chart, again, still a 36% hit rate. I don't mind that at all in terms of the play for we're going to. And we can see the magic pop up here 3 times. He was right here, and right here. Against head-to-head, he's under in all 3 of these matchups. And if you look a little bit farther, again, very difficult matchup to knock down threes, but the volume has not been there at all. He went 3 for 3 in this game, only shot 3 threes, 3 for 7 in this game, so still shot 43%, and then 2 for 5 in this game. So the volume has not been anything crazy. If he's going to knock down 4 threes, I'd want him to shoot like maybe 10 threes in that game, and he just hasn't been even coming anywhere close to that. The max he's had is 7 3-pointers attempted. So again, yes, Dame could come in here and knock down 4 threes, go 4 for 4, but the matchup's a little bit difficult. I don't think he's going to get the volume there, and we've seen that in the 3 matchups against him and similar types of defenses. He's been, more under than over the past, 19 games, however many fall into this category. So Damian Lillard, under 3.5 3-pointers made. We've gone over him for 2 games or two video picks over the past week or whatever, and he's sold us, so I don't mind fading Dame under the 3.5 3-pointers. And then a quick lean to go alongside this if you want to pair it up with Giannis's assists on the under this time. This is plus money, so it's pretty good value, under 5.5. This is against teams that are ranked good, top 10 in terms of defending assists to that above the break 3 defense, which we know Giannis gets a ton of them from, most of them to a guy like Damian Lillard. So it goes correlation wise here. 43% of his assists come from right above the break 3s. They also are pretty good at defending the rim as well. That's where 24% of his assists come as well. But yeah, just looking specifically at the above the break 3 defense in terms of allowing assists, putting in that filter here, he's gone up against the same 19 teams, and he's only over in 31% of these games. So great correlation between these 2 plays, and again, head-to-head, under in all 3 of those games as well. So before we jump into our last video pick, I do want to shout out Underdog Fantasy today because they've been giving us discounts on Luka for every game he's played with the Lakers. Today, for all new users, it's a 0.5 points line for him, so a free square for all new users. All you got to do is use code RichPicks when signing up. Get a screenshot of my code in use too, and I'm going to give you a free month of the Discord. On top of that, Underdog gives you a deposit match up to $1,000, so you get some promo money to mess around with too, on top of the Luka free square, and of course the access to my Discord for a free month. It's a really good win-win-win situation. Highly recommend checking this out. We hit an Underdog slip just yesterday, a 6x play, and we're going to make an Underdog slip with you guys here. Now, I'm not seeing the Luka discount for me just yet, but we've been getting one every single Lakers game, so I assume that will pop up eventually. And the way we're going to make this slip is do the same segment we did yesterday. We made a PrizePicks slip yesterday in terms of using DG Fantasy, one of my favorite tools out there. Nice little segment in the show, kind of a little breather from the nitty-gritty in terms of diving into some picks. But this is something that just shows you market value and bases the top plays on the board for each of these different platforms just based on market value. You're pretty much buying a stock at a discounted price, and you can get really good mathematical edges here. So just looking in here, I like to see at least 2 data points, especially for these esports guys. ZMB looks like over 26.5, looking like a pretty good play. It's 29 on Hot Streak and 27 on Sleeper. So I'm going to throw him into that. Also, by the way, I didn't even show this off. Our PrizePicks slip, it didn't hit, but we ended up going 3 for 4. One guy pushed. One guy in this Counter-Strike lost, one guy won, and then OG Anunoby, that was a line I made up, and then the Emmanuel Quickly line, that was really good EV, ended up coming through for us too. So I was able to make this slip in 1 minute, really just looking at the top plays here, making sure they had enough data points and going off the mathematical edges. Some professional sports bettors only use EV to bet, and it works out pretty well for them. Now, for someone that makes YouTube videos like me, I like to dig into the nitty-gritty, find the matchups. I know a lot about basketball, and I can do that pretty successfully, but it takes a lot of time. I could come on here and just be like, oh, hey, we're making an underdog slip, take Austin Reeves, Jalen Wilson, LeBron James, and Kristaps Porzingis because that's good EV. And those would all be great plays, but they'd all be bumped by the time you saw this. Honestly, they'd be bumped in like a minute or two. These lines move very quickly, but it just shows how good of a tool DG Fantasy is. It's all based on market value. It's all based on math. And again, some people only use EV to bet as professional bettors, and they are some of the most popular and successful bettors out there. So DG Fantasy, an awesome freaking tool. Check it out if you're someone that likes to make slips quickly or don't know a lot more about sports, or you want a good starting point. This is always a great tool. Use code RICH when signing up. Use my link in the description down below. You're going to get 25% off your first month. It's an awesome tool. I'm going to go through and make an underdog slip here for you. You can probably go try to tail it, but they'll probably all be bumped or gone. And again, you're going to be like, damn, I got to try this tool out. But that's what we did yesterday. We're going to do it again. Let me know if you guys like this segment or not. And let me know if you're on DG Fantasy. It's one of the best tools out there, especially for those mathematical edges. So for our daily grind fantasy slip of the day, this is over on Underdog. Again, code RichPicks when signing up for Underdog. This is going to be it. ZMB, Trojan, Lucan, all over their headshots or whatever it is, kills. I don't know anything about it. I know it's very good expected value, and yeah, that's what we're going to be running with. So that's DG Fantasy. Check it out. Link in the description. Code RICH for DG Fantasy. Code RichPicks for Underdog. Sorry for all the plugs, but it's how I support myself. So get in there. Try them out. Moving along to our last play of the video. It's going to be Derek White, and it's going to be a blocks line here at 0.5. We're getting pretty 50-50 odds. He's over in 58% of games, and honestly, I think he's due. I don't think this is he hasn't hit one in a while. He's probably not going to hit one. This is like, okay, when is Derek White going to get a block for a guy that loves to block shots? You can see the entire year, if we go to the 61 games he's played so far this year, or 60, he's over in 63.3% of games. I think this is going to be like a playoff-like atmosphere. And looking at last year's playoffs, well, first of all, head-to-head, he already had one block against these guys in 19 minutes last game. So I'd love to see that. He's not going to get 19 minutes again. He'll probably get 30 or something. So love to see that. 2023, 2024, he had 2 blocks in both these games last year, so love to see that. And then you look at the playoffs from last year, which again, we're looking at last year, but playoffs from last year, 68% hit rate. The intensity of this guy like Derek White, probably one of the best shot blockers in NBA history as a guard. Him in like, I don't know, maybe Dwayne Wade's probably better, but Derek White's literally up there in terms of blocking guards in NBA history. And yeah, playoffs, it goes up even a little bit more. How about playoff home games? Over in 72% of games. So they got the crowd at home. This should be a playoff-like atmosphere. The Lakers are cruising. The Celtics are cruising. These guys don't like each other, obviously, the history between these two teams. I think Derek White, he's going to get a block. 32 minutes, 35 minutes, whatever he's projected playoff-like atmosphere. I like his chances of getting a block rather than not getting a block in this one. You can see playoffs last year. Played Luka in the Mavericks twice last year at home. He had 2 blocks and 1 block, so average a block a game in those matchups. And yeah, I think he's due. He'll get the hit rate. He hasn't had one in a while, 2 in the last 10 games or so, as a guy that likes to get a whole lot of blocks throughout the entire season. Derek White, playoff potential here, playoff-like atmosphere potential. I think he gets a block today for pretty good value. So I wish I could get crazy with the filters and everything like that, but again, I guess we'll just round it out. Head-to-head, has a block against the Lakers this year, has 2 blocks in both matchups last year against them. If you look at the matchups against the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs last year, if I can get this correct, Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs last year, 2-2-1 in 5 games, so he averaged a block in those matchups. I think he gets there. Luka, LeBron, maybe swats one of those guys at the rim. That'd be pretty sweet to see as a Celtics fan. But hey, if Gabe Vincent tries to get in the lane on you, you can swat him too. I don't care who you block. Just get one of those things for us. So a quick recap of what we talked about in this one. We had Damian Lillard under 3.5 3-pointers made. We've gone to his over 2 times, or 2 different videos over the past week and a half. He's killed us in both of those. So I don't mind taking the under against the best matchup for 3-pointers unders in the entire league. For Trey Young, we have over 14.5 rebounds and assists. We saw the hit rate in similar types of matchups like this. And again, he's done it against the Pacers easily in the last 2 matchups against them. Derek White over 0.5 blocks. I think this is playoff-like atmosphere. They're at home. They're against the Lakers. They're with Luka in the building, LeBron in the building. I can see Derek White already blocking someone at the rim. Again, as a Celtics fan, you get to see it every night pretty much. But Derek White, one of the best blockers as a guard in NBA history. I'll say that right now. He's a beast. So, just chipped all his teeth. Think those should be back in his face and ready to play, but maybe plays a little bit more gritty. He's a gritty dude. I like his chances of getting a block. And then a plus money lean here correlates very well to Damian Lillard under 3-pointers made. but Giannis under his 5.5 assists. I like his scoring potential in this matchup a lot more. He always dominates the Orlando Magic, it seems like. Another guy I'll just mention, Josh Giddey. Look at all his plays. If you see some good EV on an overplay for Josh Giddey, especially rebounds and assists, but he's also been scoring really well. He's been getting a ton of time in the court. He has Noah Adesunu to compete with in terms of minutes, and he's been getting a ton of time, and he's been killing it. So look out for Josh Giddey lines. And yeah, that's going to do it for us. So definitely check out Props Madness again. Use my link in the description down below. It's code RICH for 25% off your first month or your first year, and you get to try it out for a free week. Definitely check out DG Fantasy as well. If you're someone that likes to come on here and make quick, informed mathematical plays, this is the spot for you. It's an awesome tool, and again, we've been killing it on DG Fantasy. It's a tool I use every single day. Use code RICH for 25% off your first month. And then definitely check out Underdog. Here's a slip I gave out, Counter-Strike slip using DG Fantasy. But we get a Luka free square. You get a deposit match up to $1,000. Use code RICHPICKS when signing up there, and I'll give you a free month in my Discord as well. So that's going to do it for us. Good luck with all your bets. Hopefully that Celtics-Lakers game is everything it's hyped up to be, and we get a good one. As a Celtics fan, I don't care if they crush those dudes out of the building, but I also wouldn't mind a nice close game where we come out on top. But should be a fun one. Decent amount of good games. And yeah, that's going to do it for us. So thanks for watching. Subscribe. Comment something down below. Like the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.